I'm Bob Rubin, and on behalf of Bruce Katz, the director of the Metropolitan Policy Project at Brookings, and on behalf of my colleagues at Hamilton, also at Brookings, I welcome you to today's discussion of the role of states and cities with respect to economic development and our nation's economic growth strategy. The Metro Project was founded roughly 15 years ago and has been a pioneering and major force with respect to focusing on regional state development, doing policy development, analysis, and advice for states, counties, and cities. The Hamilton Project was founded about 6 years ago, and it's really quite an extraordinary combination of academics, policy people, and financial people. And its objective was to, and is to, provide policy development and promote serious debate with respect to competitiveness, growth, broad-based participation in that growth, and economic security for the American people in a rapidly transforming global economy. Each organization is described more fully in your materials. Let me just say that, from the perspective of one of those involved in the Hamilton Project, that being at Brookings and having the Metropolitan Project also at Brookings has facilitated our working together cooperatively, and it's been a wonderful experience. And I think that by working together in this way, we've been able to much more fully, well, to draw on both our strengths and much more fully explore the very important subject we'll be discussing today. In addition to those of you in the auditorium, where I see we have a standing room, and I don't think we have more seats, so we have, there are more seats? There's an overflow, and in the overflow room, we also have participants around the country who are listening or participating through a live webcast. Let me begin our discussion with a few brief contextual comments on the economy and also on the role of states and regions. If you look at the shorter term, economic projections for the next couple of years, have been increased pretty much by all analysts. Nonetheless, we still face serious risks. Recovery will be the slowest from any recession in the post-World War II period, and we have a terribly high level of unemployment that will recede, or is expected to recede, slowly. If you look to the longer term, this country has enormous comparative advantages: a dynamic society, an entrepreneurial culture, flexible labor and capital markets, even our demographics, and much else. Thus, we have the potential to be strong and to succeed even in this rapidly transforming global economy. But to meet that potential, we have to address hugely consequential challenges. One, addressing unsustainable federal fiscal deficits that pose multiple serious, and I would say in many respects even dangerous, risks to our economy. Two, making public investments in areas that are absolutely critical to competitiveness and broad-based income growth. And three, accomplishing change to increase the effectiveness of K through 12 education, infrastructure, our healthcare system, and many other areas that are central to growth. In this context, the states can contribute enormously to both their own and our nation's economic well-being. But the way forward is difficult. As we all know, virtually all of our states are required on an annual basis to balance their budgets. And most of our states face current and even more seriously in the longer term, serious or severe structural deficits. Thus, our states are going to have to make difficult trade-off choices between providing for their most vulnerable citizens and for their employees, and investing in education, infrastructure, and the other areas that are critical to the economic future of their people. The objective, it seems to me, is to balance the trade-offs so the essentials on both sides are met. And in that context, the states are also going to have to deal with the question of their tax structure and their tax rates. The investment opportunity for the states, and that, of course, is the subject of our discussion today, breaks into two parts. Number one, improving the effectiveness of government programs that support growth, where states and cities play a major role, some that I've already mentioned, K through 12 education, infrastructure, healthcare, and others like that. And two, very importantly, building on local strengths that will provide a comparative advantage to the states in the national economy and help provide the national economy with a comparative advantage in the global economy. Identifying and building around our local strengths and more effectively conducting the traditional economic roles that states and cities play can be a powerful part of a national growth strategy. To discuss these subjects, we have two outstanding panels. The first is building the next metro economy in today's fiscal climate. The panelists are Mike Finney, the Chief Executive Officer of Michigan Economic Development Corporation, Robert Fuentes, Senior Fellow and Infrastructure Initiative Director, Metropolitan Policy Program at Brookings, the Honorable Ed Rendell, former Governor of Pennsylvania and Distinguished Senior Fellow at Brookings, and Luana K. Simon, President of Michigan State University. The moderator is Bruce Katz, Director of the Metropolitan Program and Vice President of Brookings. The second panel is Tools for Efficient State Investment, and will consist of brief presentations summarizing the Hamilton Project papers that are in your materials, and then there'll be a discussion of those papers by the panelists. The panelists are Andrew Ang of Columbia University, presenting the paper Lowering Borrowing Costs for States and Municipalities, Eduardo Engel, Yale University, presenting the paper Public-Private Partnerships, Matt Kahn, UCLA, presenting the paper Fix It First, Expand It Second, Reward It Third, A New Strategy for America's Highways, and Tyler Duval, former Undersecretary of the U.S. Department of Transportation and now Associate Principal, McKinsey & Company, discussant. The moderator will be Michael Greenstone, the Triple M Director of Environmental Economics, Department of Economics at MIT, and Senior Fellow and Director, the Hamilton Project at the Brookings Institution. With that, Bruce, the podium is yours.